Your Tesla has 7 settings enabled right now that are slowly killing your battery pack. Not draining it overnight, killing it. Permanent, irreversible chemical degradation that is going to cost you thousands of dollars when you sell this car or need a battery replacement. A battery pack costs $12,000 to $20,000 to replace. Every percentage point of extra degradation knocks $2,000 to $3,000 off your resale value. These are the 7 settings you need to change today. Number 7, data sharing. This one seems completely harmless. Your Tesla periodically uploads diagnostic data to help improve their software. Good community member stuff, right? Here is the problem nobody tells you about. Every time your car uploads data, it has to wake from sleep mode. Your battery management system needs 4 to 6 hours of continuous, deep sleep to properly balance your cells. This is when the system checks voltage levels and makes tiny adjustments to keep everything healthy. When data sharing constantly interrupts this process, the balancing never completes properly. Over time, cells drift out of sync with each other. Some cells work harder than others, which accelerates their individual degradation and makes the imbalance worse. It becomes a cycle that compounds year after year. A Model Y owner named Derek reached out to me last year. 3 years of ownership, about 12,000 miles per year, charged at home, did everything right. But he was seeing almost 9% degradation while similar owners sat around 5%. Same climate, same charging habits. We spent weeks figuring out what was different. Turns out Derek had data sharing enabled plus 2 third-party tracking apps polling his car constantly. His Tesla was waking up dozens of times per day. His battery management system never got the quiet time it needed. 3 years of interrupted sleep caused measurable, permanent capacity loss he is never getting back. Turn data sharing off under software settings. Your car still gets updates and works exactly the same. Number 6, keep accessory power on. This setting keeps 12-volt power to your USB ports, even when the car is parked and you are nowhere near it. Most people enable it once for a dash cam, and then completely forget about it for years. The real problem is not the power draw itself. The problem is that this setting prevents your Tesla from entering deep sleep mode. When the car cannot deep sleep, the battery goes through constant shallow microcycles as the 12-volt system continuously pulls power through the DC to DC converter. Each microcycle is tiny on its own, but they add up relentlessly over months and years. One study tracking thousands of Tesla batteries found cars with excessive wait time showed nearly double the calendar aging rate compared to cars that slept properly. Over 5 years of ownership, that is the difference between having 88% capacity versus 82%. A 6-point gap translates to over $5,000 in lost resale value. Check controls, then charging, and make sure Keep Accessory Power On is turned off unless you are actively using it for something specific. Number 5, always connected. This keeps your Tesla's cellular modem active around the clock so you can check on your car anytime through the app. See your charge level, check the location, monitor temperature. It is convenient, but your car never fully powers down. A software engineer named Marcus monitored his Tesla's power consumption for 6 straight months. With Always Connected enabled, his car averaged about 200 watts of constant draw when parked. After disabling the setting, that dropped to under 30 watts. The car still woke when he opened the app, it just took a few extra seconds to respond. That difference in standby draw meant his battery was going through an extra partial discharge cycle every single day. Over a full year, that adds over 300 unnecessary cycles. Battery researchers estimate lithium-ion cells lose roughly 0.02% capacity per cycle. Run those numbers over 5 years, and you are looking at 2 to 4% extra degradation just from leaving this one setting enabled. Find Always Connected under Controls, then Safety and Security. Turn it off, and your car will still wake up when you actually need it. Number 4, Sentry Mode running everywhere. Everyone knows Sentry Mode uses battery, but most owners do not think about what that constant power draw does to the battery chemistry over years. When Sentry Mode is active, your car draws around 300 watts continuously. All cameras record, and the car computer processes video. When you plug in that night, you charge back what Sentry consumed. That is a partial discharge and recharge cycle your battery did not need to go through. Multiply that by every workday for 5 years. Running Sentry 8 hours daily, 5 days a week at your office adds hundreds of unnecessary cycles annually. Each cycle causes a tiny amount of permanent chemical degradation that never reverses. A fleet manager named Jennifer tracks 37 Teslas for her company. Half the vehicles ran Sentry everywhere because drivers left it on the default setting. The other half excluded the company parking garage, which already has security cameras. After 4 years of data, cars running Sentry everywhere show an average of 2.3% more degradation. On a $75,000 Model X, that gap is over $3,000 in lost resale value. Go to Controls, then Safety, then Sentry mode. Add Home and Work as excluded locations. Your car still protects itself in parking lots where monitoring actually matters. Number 3. Cabin overheat protection on air conditioning mode. Cabin overheat protection keeps your interior from reaching dangerous temperatures when parked in the sun. It is a useful feature, but there are 2 modes, and the default causes unnecessary battery wear. Air conditioning mode runs the full climate compressor to actively cool your cabin. Fan-only mode just circulates air without the compressor. The long-term battery impact is completely different. When the compressor kicks on, it draws significant power and generates heat. Your thermal management system then works harder to keep the battery at an optimal temperature. On a hot summer day, cabin overheat might cycle on and off 10 times while you are at work. Each cycle creates thermal stress on your cells. Lithium-ion batteries hate temperature swings. They degrade measurably faster with repeated heating and cooling cycles compared to batteries at steady temperatures. A battery that stays at a consistent 75 degrees will outlast one swinging between 65 and 85, even if the average is identical. An owner in Phoenix named Carlos documented 2 consecutive summers. First summer with air conditioning mode enabled. Second summer with fan only. Same parking spot at work, same mileage, same charging routine. His degradation rate in year 2 was noticeably lower once the compressor stopped cycling constantly. Switch to fan only or no AC under controls, then safety. Your interior might hit 110 degrees instead of staying at 90 degrees, but your battery experiences far less thermal stress. Number 2. Plugging in immediately instead of using scheduled departure. This is not about turning something off, it is about using a feature most owners completely ignore. The typical Tesla owner pulls into the garage, plugs in immediately, and the car charges to 80% within a couple of hours. Then the battery sits at 80% all night until morning. That is 8 to 12 hours at a high state of charge every single night. Here's what the research conclusively shows. Time spent at high state of charge is the single biggest factor in calendar aging. A battery sitting at 55% degrades at roughly half the rate of one sitting at 80%, not slightly slower, half the rate. Over years of ownership, this difference is enormous. One long-term study found cells stored at 40% retained 96% capacity after a year. Identical cells stored at 100% retained only 80%. 16% difference just from where the charge level sat during storage. Scheduled departure fixes this completely. Instead of charging immediately, your Tesla times charging to finish right before you leave. Your battery spends the night at a lower, healthier state of charge. A data analyst named Rachel tested this with 2 identical Model 3s her family owned. One used scheduled departure religiously, one charged immediately. After 4 years with nearly identical mileage, the scheduled departure car showed almost 3% less total degradation. Same vehicles, same climate, same charger. The only difference was when the charging happened. Set this up under controls, then charging, then schedule. Pick your departure time and let the car handle the rest. Number 1. Summon standby. This is the worst setting on this entire list, and almost nobody knows it exists. I have talked to owners with 50,000 miles who had no idea it was damaging their battery the whole time they owned the car. Summon Standby keeps your full self-driving computer and all external cameras in a partially active state around the clock, ready to respond instantly if you use the Smart Summon feature from your phone. The idea is you open the app in a parking lot, tap Summon, and your car immediately starts driving toward you. No delay, instant response. Sounds cool. Here is the problem. This setting is enabled by default on every single Tesla with the appropriate hardware. And you cannot turn it off from the mobile app no matter how hard you look. You have to physically sit inside the vehicle and disable it from the touchscreen before parking. Instead of sleeping at 15 to 20 watts like a properly configured Tesla, your car hovers around 200 to 300 watts constantly. The full self-driving computer stays powered and warm. All the cameras stay active and processing. The entire system sits in ready mode, burning through your battery around the clock, whether you ever use Smart Summon or not. Most owners use it maybe once or twice a year, if ever, yet this setting runs continuously. The real damage is long-term. Every hour your car spends in summon standby mode, the battery slowly discharges. When you charge back up, that counts as another partial cycle on your cells. The full self-driving computer generates heat while running, so your thermal management system activates more frequently to keep temperatures in check. Every single mechanism that causes lithium-ion degradation happens at an accelerated rate because of this one setting. An owner named Victor parked at the airport for 3 weeks with Summon Standby enabled because he had no idea the setting existed. When he returned from his trip, his car had lost over 100 miles of indicated range just sitting in the parking structure doing absolutely nothing. But here is the part that really got him. The real damage showed up over the following months. His degradation rate noticeably increased compared to his first 2 years of ownership. The rate at which his maximum capacity dropped accelerated after that trip. All those hours of unnecessary discharge cycles and thermal management stress while he was relaxing on vacation had caused measurable permanent damage to his battery cells. Damage that is never coming back. Tesla has made some improvements recently after years of owner complaints on the forums. The system now automatically disables Summon Standby after 24 hours of continuous parking and during overnight hours between midnight and 6 a.m. But that still leaves plenty of time for damage during normal daily use when you park at work or run errands around town. Turn this off immediately. Go to Controls, then Autopilot, then Customize Summon, and disable Standby mode. Also make sure your home and work addresses are saved as favorites, since the system is supposed to exclude those locations automatically. This single change prevents more unnecessary degradation than all the other settings on this list combined. Here is the good news. Every single one of these changes takes less than 60 seconds to make. You do not need special tools. You do not need to go to a service center. Just grab your keys, sit in your car, and go through these settings one by one. Do all 7 today, and your battery will be measurably healthier 5 years from now when you go to sell this car or trade it in. We are talking about potentially keeping an extra 3 to 5% of your original capacity. That is real money. That is $6,000 to $10,000 in preserved resale value from changes that cost you nothing but a few minutes of your time. If this helped you protect your investment, click on this video to see how to make your Tesla last over 300,000 miles without any major repairs.